to Naturally Aspirated. My name is Dave from Cosp Media. Today we'll be trying something a little different. We're going to do our first bonus episode and our first little part of our classic car history here. So today's we're starting off right with La Donna, the mother of them all, the Ferrari F40. So the Ferrari F40 is a mid-engine rear-wheel drive sports car that was built between 1987 and 1992. It was styled by Pininfarina and engineered by Nicola Materazzi, close to Maserati at Ferrari. So as a successor with the 288 GTO, which was Ferrari's top car of the past recent years at that time, it was the flagship. It was designed to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary and was the last Ferrari that Enzo Ferrari was personally approved. So it had something quite spectacular and something that's a big deal there for sure. So at the time of its release, it was the fastest Ferrari, the most powerful and most expensive car for sale. A total of 1,315 cars were manufactured. So let's go into a story here, a little origin story of how this car came to be. So as early as 1984, Materazzi, which is weird, I can't say that name, had proposed to Enzo Ferrari the idea of using a Group B 4-liter category or a 2.857 liter if it was turbocharged. That's what ends up going in. To prove the performance of Ferrari's new road cars, but also not sending drivers to the hospital and making it an easy drivable car with still that insane performance. Since Enzo didn't really have direct control over the production part of the business anymore, the engineers had to get permission from the new general manager, Eugenio Alzati. Sorry, my Italian name reading isn't that good despite being part Italian. But permission was granted, but they were told that only under the conditions that they did not work during regular work weeks. They did it on their own time, essentially, which seems interesting to do that, and that they even went through with it. So a small group of engineers went together and they actually developed the GTO Evoluzione, which was set to compete in the same class entered by the Porsche 959 at the time, and that was the FIA Group B Rally Championship. However, FIA brought an end to this, so there was no more Group B for the 1986 season, and Enzo Ferrari was left with 5 288 GTO Evoluziones and no series to race those in. So this left, they're kind of thinking what they could do with it. They felt that there was a way to turn this into that car that I said earlier that would make the car drivable on the road and still show the performance. But I guess not on the track this time, but just on the road. And that's what they decided to do. And they decided to go forward with the F40 to celebrate 40 years and bring that top technology that they had onto the streets and shock its competitors. So the F40 had 478 horsepower from a twin turbocharged V8 that had a top speed of 324 kilometers per hour. That engine was mounted to a 5-speed manual gearbox, and you were able to get this car in 1987 from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.1 seconds. You could do 1 kilometer from standstill in 20.9 seconds. Wow, that is quick. Even to this day, I think. Obviously, that's just fast. Styling-wise, the F40 has that iconic shape. Nothing else really looks like that, with that massive rear wing that Ferrari haven't had before and haven't had since, aside from the F50. I believe. Watch me get this wrong now. Obviously, it has a yes. Second guess myself, and then it has those headlights, those daytime runners there, the little smiley face guy down at the bottom, which, wow, now that I'm looking at it, really does look like a little smiley face, and the pop-ups ahead above it that are just, like I said, just that iconic front end, and it's just function over form. You can see it's so aerodynamic. It's just cutting through the air, slicing, just minimal spots for air intakes, and that rear wing, keeping that rear end planted. And then obviously those star wheels. I'm sure their opinion split people's opinion, but they're just iconic to this car. Like, that's the only car that had something like that, and everybody knows that. And just the interior on this car is bare, and the rear window has the plastic over it, or plexiglass with the slats in it, and it looks sweet. The rear end also makes the car look so wide, so aggressive, like it is, and again, the styling, I don't think Ferrari could do anything wrong with this car. That everything about it looks fantastic, and there's a reason why it's widely known and called to be one of the best cars out there, because it's got that beauty and it's got that performance that we talked about. And obviously I've never driven one, but everyone who drives one seems to love it. So yeah, it just looks exceptional. And I know there's a blue one, but I don't know if they came in any other color actually out of the factory. Something I should know. I see here a black one here, and it looks sweet. The rear end is sweet too. It's got that triple exhaust right in the middle, those two lights, and for cooling, it's got that wide open rear end, like it's mesh, and it looks sweet. And once again, that's for that function, and it really truly is a race car for the road. It looks like it performs like it. It's an exceptional vehicle for sure. Let me know what you think of the F40, and make sure to follow us over on Instagram at Cars of Sherwood Park, and on Twitter at Cars of SP, and check us out on Facebook at Cars of Sherwood Park. Subscribe, and more podcasts are coming in the near future with both Bear and Chili and myself. Thank you, and see you next time. I hope you enjoyed our first little bonus episode.